Okay, guys. So we are back. I just wanted to show you the property that I was talking about. Notice how for open file dialog, I have changed this file exists to false. And now if I run it, and if you go and say file, open file, you can avoid this. You can remove this name from here. I'll tell you how to do it. It's just a property that has to be set. And suppose I give AAA, which doesn't exist. See, it doesn't do any check. That's how that property can be set to true or false. You can say, no, I want it to be true so that it's checked at that place. But if you don't do it at that place, your code should do it. You know what I mean? It has to be done somewhere. So when you try to open it, you can put a try exception catch. And remember, there was a file not found exception. So you can do it whatever way you like. Like if you're using a open file dialog and you'll say, you know what, let it do it. I mean, why should I even bother about it? You can keep it at its default property true and it will check it. Okay, so as I said, these properties, you can play around with these properties to see what's going on, right? So there are some properties here. Notice I'm going to set a few. There is a defilter property here. There is a where do you want to start? Initial directory here. Where do you want to start? You can do this here in the properties, or you can also do it in your form. So I'll just do it here. Okay, before I even start doing my stuff, which is basically reading and writing from the files, please let's create our read and write classes, right? The classes, the objects that I need to read and write from files. So stream readers and stream writer objects. Okay, so let's create them. You can call them whatever you like. I'm going to create private stream reader. Spelling is wrong. Stream reader object, and you can call it, I don't know, we're working with coffee. So let's go something with coffee. Coffee stream reader. What else? Right. As soon as you do this, it's automatically done. The line 15 has automatically taken care. Right. So if you don't, and if it says, cannot be found, you can always fix it and say use the system IO. It was smart enough to do it. So here you can say declare. We are just declaring it. We are not creating them. Okay. We are declaring our stream reader objects. If I wanted to use that file stream object, I would do it here too. Like I can show you how to do it. Yes.
I just found the stream.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and let's create a stream writer object because I'm going to read and write from the file. I know that. That's why I'm doing it right away. So let's create the stream writer object. And that's also coming from your system.io, which is you're already using. And let's again call it coffee stream writer. This is just declaring them, remember, and they're by default going to null, right? All class variables, if you don't initialize them, all objects are initialized to null. So I haven't created them yet. I've just declared that I'll be using these two objects. And again, as I said, I'm not using it, but if you needed a file stream object, you know what, I can show it to you. It's not a big deal. You can create a file, I think it's called file stream. What was it called? Class called? There it is, file stream. Right, you can create a file stream. I'll just call it FS. I can do it. I mean, I don't need to. So I'll try to do my stuff first because my time is limited, and then I'll add more to it, right? Because I'm showing an open files dialog, I know it exists. So kind of, I mean, my path does exist. So I don't have to check directory exists, file exists, because I haven't changed those properties. If I was doing that, then I would be more careful. I'm okay. Like, I don't need to. Okay, so let's come back to where you were. So once you have that objects declared, definitely I'm going to use it. So if you wanted to set some properties of your file dialog box, I'll show you how to do it. Now, the first thing that you do, now since the user has clicked on the open menu item, that means he's trying to open a file. And if he's trying to open a file, he'll definitely use the coffee stream reader object to open it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he'll use. There are two options now. Once the user clicks on open and the user opens a file, you can gray that out. You can disable it. Now the user cannot open any other file in your project. I mean, he can only use one data file. Now that may not always be the case. In the sense, maybe he wants to work with a file, then he has data in some other file, he wants to use that file and so on. So you could gray it out so that it's done. Only one file can be opened, but usually we don't do that because it may happen that he's trying to use more than one files at the same time with the open file dialog. So keeping that in mind, I'll always check if your coffee stream reader, where are you? There you are. If your coffee stream reader is not equal to null, that means you've already opened something in it, right? It's already active. It's an already object that you've opened. Then I'll close it before I kind of use it again. Right? So that's kind of saying closing the stream if it is open. As I said, you could do it once and then gray out the option altogether, and then this will never arise, right? Because the first time it will be null and then it will never arise if you gray it out. But again, as I said, I'm not going with that option. I'm not saying once you use the open file dialog, you can't use it again. You cannot click on it again. But so this is just kind of taking care that whatever. Depends. I mean, you could do it. Okay. How do you set some properties of your file dialog box? Not all the properties. But you can of course do it in your properties in your design. Okay, you can do it right there. I'm just showing it to you here so that it kind of makes a little more sense to you, because when we do something in code, it makes so here. If you wanted to set the initial directory, now you can set it wherever you like. You'll say, oh, all my data files are available on C/files, whatever. You can set it to whatever you like. Okay, using a string, just set it. But remember to use the @ in front of it, because if you don't use @ and you are using the backslash, you'll have to write the backslash twice. Okay, so you have to be careful. If you're using any escape sequence in your string and you don't want it to take its special meaning, then you just put an @ in front of it. So you could write a full path here. You could just say double quotes, whatever, if you wanted to go to a particular directory. If by default you want to open your current directory, where, as I said, all your files are kept in your debug, by default, there is where it goes. That is where it is going automatically also. But this is just to show you that if you wanted to go to your current directory, so from your directory class, if you use the get current directory, where are you? There you are. By default, it will go to your bin debug folder. So this is just to show you that the property initial directory can be set. When I opened it, it was going there by default. So setting it to the same value is not making a lot of sense. But what you could do, you could go to whatever directory you wanted to go. Okay, you could just set it to some initial directory where you think you've saved your files. So please, for me on my project, when you give me an assignment, don't try to give a path here which is local to your machine, because then I'll have to keep changing it. I don't want to do that, right? I don't want to search in your local directories for a file that I need. So don't do that. So this is just to show you how you can do it. You can also set some other properties, and this is handy. You can go open file dialog 1. The property is called file name. So now if you know that by default, you will be using this file name called coffees.txt, so that this name automatically appears in your file name. You can set it to blank if you like. Nothing stops you. You can just do like this. Remember when I showed it to you how there was something in the file name which was called open file dialog and it was untidy? I had to remove it. I mean, it was useless. So if you want it to be blank, you can go this way. If you know that coffees.txt is what you will be using all the time, like to begin with, you can go this way if you like. So that name will automatically appear. In the sense, that's what you're selecting. So make it blank or give it a name if you like. So why blank? Because I don't want to see open file dialog 1 in my file name, which is what comes by default. Okay, you can set whatever properties. If you also want to set a property, I think I'm okay with it, but again, this is just to show you. Remember, there's a title property. It automatically says open in your title. Instead of that title, if you want to say something like, I don't know, what can we say, select file or something. So open is not bad for me at all. There. It's just setting some properties just to show you so that you know, yes, I can work with these properties. Keep in mind, every object that you create has properties, and they're powerful properties. So always when you want to do something, first look at the properties. Is there a property that will let me do this? If not, then think of how I can do it. Okay, and you can also do this. Actually, this is not bad. This is a good one. You can set the filter. So you are saying only show me those files, for example, which have extension text. I'm just taking it text. You could take it anything, because, and again, text is not something that you have to have. So here is how you set the text. You can say, and this is common, you can always select from your file type and then only those files show in your directory. That's what I'm trying to do with filter. Okay. Remember, when you say open a file or when you say save a file, you have something as type, you can always select. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I can say text files. So this has to be just done a certain way. That's what it will show. Start.text. So this is, I'm filtering it. Those are the only files I want to show. Anything that starts but has a text extension, I'll show you how it works. I'm setting the filter. Filter is just what it means. Filter, like that's all I want to see. Oh, you could also do this, though doesn't make sense. But anyway, anything, then the whole purpose is lost. Anything means here. So I'm saying that that's my filters. I want to see anything with extension .text. I mean, I should have stopped right here, but all files, anything will come up. I'll show you how it works in a minute. Give me 1 minute. I think we are okay here. Let's try to run it. I want to show you these properties that I have set. And there are as whatever you would like to do. So notice how it is only, this is the filter I was talking about. This I've set with a filter. I've said, this is my default file name. It's already showing here. That's the name you gave. And the initial directory, I set it to the get current directory. The current directory by default is the debug. I don't have to set this if you don't want to change it, because this was the default when it came. So this is the name property. Okay. This is your filter property. This is your initial directory property. That's how it is working. Okay. So it's basically saying that I've set the filter that text files. So I want to see text files and I want to see all files. That's how you set it. Okay. That's what I've done. These are there's another one I set 4 of them. What was the other one? Oh, select file and property. Here, this name, title. Instead of open, it says select file or directory. Just to show you, I mean, this is just to show you. Okay, so you do whatever you like. So this is what happens. When I say text files here, and I kind of put a pipe and I write the start.text, it will only show me the text files. It's just a certain format, which I forget. It's off my head, but that's how it works. And then when you say all files, it will show you, it's kind of relating this to this, and it's relating the start.star to this. That's what it does. So only my text files were showing up. Nothing else was showing up. Makes it neater, right? I don't want to see everything in my debug folder or wherever you are taking me. You're saying, oh, my data files will have extension txt. Do they need to have extension .txt? No, absolutely not. You may not have any extension at all. It's up to you. Okay. Okay. So that's what I've done. Anyway, having said that, now let me show the dialog. Okay. So as I said, you could set some properties of the file open dialog box if you wanted to. I would at least do this because I don't want to see that odd open file dialog there. This is not a bad idea. Filtering makes easy to see and search, right? It makes it easy if you have a big directory. The rest is up to you. Title is not so important. Going to a particular directory is not very important because I can always, it's like Windows, like Explorer window, right? I can do that. But you know what? The more you help the user, the more user-friendly your dialogues are, the better it is. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show it, but I'm also going to take the response from the user. That's why I needed that response variable, right? I think I already said, no, I didn't. Okay. I'm showing it. Now, why have I taken the response? Because the user may do a cancel. Right? Remember, there was an open and a cancel. So if the user does cancel, it depends upon you, what you want to do. In my code, it's not a big deal. I mean, in the big deal means I could just say, stop my application, I'm done. Because if you're not going to choose a file, how am I going to populate my list? And if you're not populating the list, what do I do with it? Or on the other hand, I'm saying, okay, don't use a file, start fresh. Put your flavors, add your flavors, I'll put it into the file. So depending upon what you want to do, if the user says cancel, you want to stop your code, or stop your application, stop it. If you don't want to, leave it. It just sits where it is. Okay. So now check what the user said. So check the response. So all I'm saying is if this response is not equal to dialog result dot cancel, there it is. I want to do something. That's what I'm saying. Right? So if the oops, where did I go? Bracket here and this bracket there. The user has opened a file. Because when the user says, yes, I want to open a file, I want to create a stream reader object and so on. Okay. And you can always have an else. Okay. So now let's see. Maybe we'll have some exceptions to catch, maybe not. Let me write it, though I know there will be, but I can show it to you and then maybe we'll put it. Okay. So if the user says no, so the user is saying I'm good to go. Okay. This is what we will do. In your coffee stream reader object, there you are, create a new stream reader object. Right? So now it has 11 overloads, right? This method has 11 overloads. And this is the one which says, give me the stream. So I could say, I could create a stream object inside it, new file stream with that file name that I've just created. I could do that. That's one way. There is an easy one. You can also go to a path. That's a path. I can just give my path. I don't have to create a new file stream object. So the first one says create a stream object. There I would say new file stream. Like I showed you the examples in the PowerPoint. I could do that. Or I can give a path. Because I have the path, I'll just use it. So what will I do? I'll take your open file dialog 1.file name. There. So whatever the user chooses, so from coffee.text, if you change to something else, doesn't matter. Whatever the user chooses in that file name bar in your open file dialog, that's saved in the file name property of your open file dialog. So you're saying whatever the user chose, open that file. That's what you're saying. Whoops, you're saying open that file. So you could create a new file stream object. It's entirely up to you. I am not doing it because I'm selecting something from the directory. I've already said that open file dialog cannot open a file that does not exist. I left it at true. So I know it will work. But again, defensive programming, do whatever. Now bring your mouse over it. What does it say? It says it throws some exceptions. It throws an argument exception, an argument null exception. That means you didn't give an argument exception. There's something wrong in the argument. You gave a null. File not found exception. You could do this, right? You're trying to open a file and it doesn't exist. So now this is your defensive programming. It is true for your open file dialog. You know you cannot open it, but you are still taking care. Directory not found exception. You can do that too, an IO exception. So I could do all 5 exceptions if I wanted. Argument and argument null, I'm not paying too much attention just because I'm passing it an argument, but you could. But file not found, directory not found, IO exception. Now the file not found and directory not found, I know cannot happen for me just because I'm using a file dialog. But if you want to, just add catch blocks and do it. So whatever exceptions you like, but it does throw all those exceptions. So what I'm going to do is, because it does throw all that exception, I'm going to put it in a try block. I'm going to put it in a try block. So put a try. And I leave it to you. You can catch as many exceptions as you like, or you could catch a file not found exception, directory. It's up to you. So if I say catch, let's do the file not found exception. Wasn't it called file not found? I thought it was called file not. There it is. File not found exception, right? If you want to give it a name, sure. If you don't need a name, doesn't matter. So you can give a message to the user. Do a show, tell the user file does, and you know what? This will never arise for you because that's true for my file dialog property. I've said you check if the file exists, but I'm not relying on anything. I'm saying I'll still check it. Okay, so we can say something like file does not exist. I'm going to say file does not exist. You can give it a proper title, file missing or file opening error, whatever you would like. Don't give me empty message boxes, guys. There's no title, there is no icon, there's nothing. Like they look like bare. Like something is wrong. Something is missing. How long does it take? All you have to do is this, put an OK here, take your icon. I mean, you don't even have to type it in. So I don't think you should be lazy. There. A good message. Instead of saying, show me the message, if you want to catch another one, this is always a good idea, always to catch the IO exceptions. Who knows what kind of error can occur there, because it could be a operating system error. It could be anything else that you don't know about, right? So now here, I don't know what kind of error can occur. So this is what I can do. When you don't know what to expect, you can call it EX1 and EX2 if you like. Not good names, but, and instead of saying, I don't know what occurred, I can say EX2 dot, what is the method called? Message or get message? Java has get message, I think. There it is, message. And I don't know if it's a file opening error, so I'll just say error. So remember, when you write a generic catch block, there's not much you can do about it. You can just show the message that the exception has. So I took file not found EX, file not found in IO. You could add all your 5 catches here: argument, argument null, directory not found, and so on, whatever you like. Okay. So this is kind of redundant for me because I have left that property as true, but you know what? How does it matter? It's just better to be on the safe side. And there's nothing safe. Defensive programming is always good. So this is how you find out what exceptions are thrown. Okay. Bring your mouse over the method or the constructor you're using. Look at what exceptions it is throwing and catch those exceptions. That's how you kind of find out. I can't remember off my head what exceptions are thrown. Okay, now if it is open, where are you? Here. Okay, so I've used this. I've used a path. It says initializes a new instance of the stream reader class for the specified file name. And stream reader is used for reading by default. That's what it does. Okay, so I can read from it. So again, if you say, oh, can I use another one? Then all you'll have to do is you have to look at all the overloaded methods and see what you need. It's up to you. Okay, I'm using the easiest. I'm getting out the easy way. Okay, now that I have it and it's open and everything, now what do I want to do? I want to take all the data from my file and populate my list in my coffee combo box. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to take the coffee flavors from the file. I know they're there, right? One per line. Remember, I showed you that file. There is my coffee text. So I have to know how they are saved, guys. I have to know. I'm putting them one per line. If I had all of them in the same line, then it would have been a different story. I know they're one per line. Okay, so they're one per line. Okay, so take the coffee flavors from the file and populate the combo box. The coffee selection list. Instead of saying combo box, I'll say selection list. Okay, how do I do that? What do I have to do? I have to keep reading. And could there be a previous list? There could be. There could be. Who knows? Like, if you want to just do this, yep. So you have to just be careful of how we are working. I mean, it could be anything. Okay, so let's clear it just to be sure. Take your coffee combo box, take your items, and take your clear. Remember, this clears the list. Okay, just to be on the safe side. It doesn't add to it, it clears it. Okay, now do what? Keep reading from the file till you reach the end of the file. Read line one at a time, populate it in the list. Okay, so use a while loop while there is more in the file. Right? So your while loop says while there is more, or if you want, since you're doing it for the first time, while there is data in the file, just so that you know. Oops. Okay, so while. Remember that peek method that I just talked about? So take your coffee stream reader. Where are you, coffee stream reader? Use the peek method. And it is equal to -1. So you have to say is not equal to -1. It is -1 when it reaches the end of the file. Right? So you're saying while it is not equal to -1, I want to read from the file. Okay, how do you want to read? Read one line at a time. Okay, so read one line at a time and put it in a, take a local variable of type string. You can call it whatever you like. Coffee name. I could declare it in the block, doesn't matter. I could have done it right there. Okay, so take your coffee name, or you can combine your statements. There it is. Take your coffee name. Okay, now get it from your file. And coffee stream reader, there you are, dot read line. There it is, read line. So do I want to read or do I want to read line? You have to know because it's your file, right? So it's your file. You have created it. You should know how the data is, and so you use a read line, right? So you use a read line, and now add this coffee name to your combo box. So take your coffee combo box. Where are you? There you are, coffee combo box. Take your items to it, add, and your coffee name. There you are. Job done. Right? So I've populated my list. You know the add method. You know items is the collection in your combo box. You have the coffee string. Put it. Done. I've populated my list. Job done. File needs to be closed now. You need to close your stream reader. Now, you could close it right here, but it is highly recommended that you have a finally block, because it may happen that there was some error. And if there was an error, then the file never gets closed because it jumps to catch, right? It jumps to catch. And to be always on the safe side, we'll say if your coffee stream reader, maybe it never got opened, who knows? Maybe you had an error opening it, so it never got opened. So you can only close open streams. Close it. And I put it in finally because irrespective of whether it was successful or unsuccessful or whatever happened, it will always be done, even after a try and even after a catch. So put it in finally. So don't put it here. And don't keep closing and opening it and closing and opening it. I have opened it once. Notice how on line number 365, I've opened it once. And I don't keep closing and opening it. It doesn't make sense. And every time open and close will always bring it to the first record. So open it, read. Job done, close it. So you could have written the closing here. I would not like you to put the closing here because we always want to close our streams. And the best way to close your streams are in your finally block. So that irrespective of any exception that could have occurred, otherwise you'll have to put it in the try, in the catch everywhere. Why? Just put it in finally. Okay, so this will close it. So this must work. Okay, now was there an if that we did? Okay, so if the user said not cancel, then we did it. Else, if you like, now I've forgotten where my else was. Here. So you could do an else if you like. I mean, it depends on you. Doesn't really, I mean, you don't have to do it. If you wanted, I mean, I'm not doing anything, but if you wanted to say data is not being taken from a file, something like if you wanted to give a message, you could give it here. Okay. Okay, so I'm okay. If the user does a cancel, that's fine too. Doesn't matter to me. My application will not close or anything. If you wanted to close it, we could say here, else application dot exit, whatever you like. You can put a dialog box on the screen saying, since no file was selected, application is closing, and then just close it. You know what I mean? It depends. I don't have anything to do, so I won't do it. Okay, now let's test it. So in its easiest form, see how easy it is. All you need to know is how to read from a file. So how to open a file and how to read. I kind of missed a step of the file stream class just because it is easier. I'll show it to you. I'm kind of time bound. I want to finish off this so that you can see it. Okay, so see it's empty right now. I didn't put anything in its items. If I go here, file, and I say open the file, and I don't select it, I say cancel here. Nothing happens. I'm back to my form. For me, it is okay. Like, it doesn't depend. I can start adding flavors right from here, from my ad. I can do that. I don't have to open a file. But if I open a file and I go open, and now see, there it is. So you're now reading data from a file. So you're not dependent at all on anything. You know what I mean? This is permanent data. Now, if I make changes here, what do I want on the opposite side? I want to save my flavor. So right now, if you're going to delete something, it will be removed, right? If I want to add something, it will be added, but it's all happening here. If I close this application and start again and open that file, the data is again picked up from that file. But this is what I want to do. After I make changes or whenever, I should be able to go here and say save file, and I should be able to save my coffee flavors. I could do this when I exit. Maybe you can force the user to always ask when you're exiting, do you want to save your file? Or of course, the user should go and just save the file. So both ways, right? Now let's try to do that. Okay, so is the open clear? So opening, just what are the operations you need to do? You need to associate a file with a file stream, which I've kind of skipped that step because I used another constructor. Job number 1, associate. Job number 2, use a stream reader to open it. Job number 3, keep reading from the file. That's it, till the file has finished. So don't forget your while loop. If you forget your while loop and you keep reading, then of course you're going to have a problem, right? So notice, bring your mouse again to your read line. See, it says I'm going to throw an IO exception or I'm going to throw an out of memory exception. I already have taken care of IO, so I'm safe there. But if I did not have this while loop, so you can try it. Here, let's try this. I'm just saying open it and keep reading it. It can't keep reading it forever. Oh, if there is not a while loop, how will it go back? It will only read the first record. Can't show you without using a while loop. And if I use a while loop, then I have, oh well, can't do much then. It will only read the first record. Oh, I can do this actually. That is really stupid, but I can do this. Infinite loop. Right now, that definitely is an infinite loop. Oops. Now, so I'm saying keep reading. I mean, you can't keep reading from a file. It will end somewhere. So while true says keep reading. Let's try that. I'm going to run out of, what am I going to do? Reading. Okay. So reading, reading, and reading. There. It says, what are you doing? Why are you saying add coffee name? Because when you went beyond the last record, it picked up God knows what, right? So your argument was null. That gives me an idea. You know what, Anju? You should add an argument null exception catch also. So don't be lazy. Look at what it is throwing. Add all catches, I would say. That's how I do that in Java all the time. Look at what the method you're using. Look at what exceptions are being thrown. Add the catches. Right? If you don't want to add all of them, go and try to look at who does it belong to and at least add the generic class. So all your exceptions will be caught. So it's giving me that, where do I find it? I couldn't find a coffee name. It cannot. I mean, it reads beyond and then I don't know what garbage it reads. Who knows what garbage it reads? But I think it's putting null into this coffee name. Since it is a string, it didn't find anything, it's null, and it's trying to add null to your items, and it's giving you an argument null exception. So if you don't do it, you're going to bound to get a problem somewhere. So definitely now that makes me think, you know what, I shouldn't be lazy and just catch all. If I'm going to do defensive programming, I better catch it all. I know this will not happen because I've written a right while loop, but still. Okay, so that's how you will work with it. Okay, so look at the class, look at the method you're using, look at the exceptions it is throwing, just add your catches. That's it. That's all I have to do. Even this was not necessary for me at all. But now if I do this, try doing this now. So right now, if I try to do start, I want to show you, and I want to go file and I say open and I say AAA and I say open. It won't let me go further. I can't do it. I can get out of this file dialog box. But for whatever reason, some finicky programmer says, you know what, I don't want to use this. I always say, if something is available, use it. He says, no, you don't check if file exists. You don't do that job. False, you don't check it. Let me check it. So see what will happen now. And remember, I have that exception. I have it. That's why I'm saying I can do it. See, this is your exception now. So though I knew the dialog box will catch it, I still put an exception for myself. I did. And that's what I'm saying. Always write defensive programs. Always assume your user is going to wreck your code. That's their aim, how to break your code. Always think from that point of view. So it's a tester. That's the job of testers. They try to find a bug in your code, right? So always do defensive programming. So I've already taken care of that. So I'm okay. Right? It tells me the file does not exist. So if the file does not exist, there, can't do anything about it. Remember I said, can do nothing about it. It went to the exception. So it's trying, it couldn't, went to the exception, says file not found. I'm safe. Okay, so that's how you will also do it. Be safe, always be safe. Okay, so having said that, Again, I will do it, but I should be adding my catch directory not exist, catch argument null exception, catch, and so on. And the read line was also throwing two exceptions. There was an IO exception, which is already caught, so I'm okay there. And there is a out of memory exception. I'm not sure what out of memory exception means. Seems like you're running out of memory, but reading is why is reading running? That while true was not doing it. I thought maybe while true will give me an out of memory, but it gave me an argument null exception. So I'll have to look into it. I don't know what out of memory is, but if once I know, I'll put a catch for it. Okay. Job number 2 now. What should I do here? What should I do in my save? The save one does the opposite job. The save one says, I'm going to save your coffee flavor. So if you hit this, maybe, I don't know, whenever, right? You'll say, but does it make sense? Every time the user hits save, I'm going and saving in the file. Whatever. What if no changes were made? Like, doesn't make sense. Remember, it's a time-consuming process. I only have 5 flavors, but what if you had 100 student marks? So I just hit save and it saves everything from the list, even though no changes were made. So wouldn't it be better that I keep a record of was a change made? Only then save it to the file. You know what I mean? You're trying to save it. How can you do that? Very logically, let's do this. Take a Boolean variable here. So I've not used the stream writer. I haven't used FS at all, but anyway, because I don't have the time right now. But anyway, I'm going to take a Boolean variable. Right? I'm going to take a Boolean variable. And usually, I mean, you don't have to call it, but you will see that people call it is dirty, like has a change occurred or has changed. You could call it whatever you like, has changed. What I'm going to do with this Boolean variable is anytime I make a change in my coffee flavor list, I'm going to set it to true. So right now it is false. Remember, by default, you can do it if you like. You don't have to, but that's its default value. I put it at the module level variable, class variable. Anytime I see a change, I do a change, I'll set it to true. Yes, something has happened. Now, where are these changes? Where do you change your coffee list? You change your coffee list when you add a new coffee flavor. So let's add it. So you're saying if the user has provided while it was not found, if item found here, add the flavor. You're adding a flavor here, record your change. Take your is dirty variable and set it to true. There. Now I know that a change was made. So this is one place where a change can be made. You've added a new flavor. The purpose, you will say, how does it matter? Why can't I just write to the file? Because why will you need to write? It's already in the file. You copied from the file, got into the list. You didn't make any changes to the list. Why will you write it back then? Why would you waste that time? Okay. So this is one change. I change it here. Anywhere else, remove it. Where is your if item was found? Remove it here. Make a change. Record this change. So anytime you either change, add a coffee flavor or remove a coffee flavor, make this Boolean variable as true. So if item found, flavor was found, deleted. I'm just going to, I know where I have deleted and added. There I know where I added it. Here I know I'm removing it. So I know where to put this is true. Anywhere else? Oh, there is another remove at here. Remove at here. Is dirty. Wherever you've made a change, make it true here. Okay, so is dirty done? Is dirty done? And there is another if. So here, no changes. Okay, so this is what I've done. If you're you have the same code as mine. 241. I've added the statement in 241. That's your add method. Right? That's where my first change. That's my add method, guys. So if you have the same code as mine, so around 241 is where I am. I made a change. I added a coffee flavor. So added means you made a change. Make this variable true. In the delete method, in the remove coffee flavor event handler, I have it at 2 places. If the item was found, anywhere you see the remove word, the remove method call, I removed it. So I'm at line number 296. So somewhere there, see, there's a change. And then this is the third one. I have a remove at here again. There were 3 ifs at line number 313. Make it true again. And where else? clear coffee list. When the user says, yes, I want to clear, you've cleared the whole coffee list. Actually, there is nothing to write now. If I've cleared it, it's empty, but I still have to make my file empty. Line number 332. Is dirty is equal to, oops, is equal to true. There. Now, when the user hits save, before you do anything, check were there changes to be saved. Otherwise, tell the user there is nothing to save. Okay. Now go to your, this is just to kind of check. Save the coffee flavors if there was a change. How do you check that? You say if my is dirty Boolean variable is true. You don't have to say is equal to true. Changes were made, right? Else you can tell the user. It's always a good idea to tell the user. Take your message box, use your show method, tell the user no changes to like save to the file or whatever you want to say. No changes in coffee flavors. Right, again, I'm only working with my coffee flavors. I'm not doing anything with my syrup, but same kind of concepts hold. So no changes in coffee flavors. So basically there is nothing to change. So you can say no changes to save. Right, you can put a comma. You can add another, I don't know, what would you like to say here? This is an information, so you can go information if you like. Your icon can be information. Titles are always written in Pascal case. I mean, of course, in English with normal words, but capitalized. What is the next one? Message box buttons. We'll do an OK. And message box information. There it is. There. Tell the user there's nothing to save. Don't ever leave the user as if what's happening. Did it happen or did it not happen kind of stuff. Okay. Now again, what do I need to do? Okay. Now I want to show where does the user want to save. Now you can take this. You can assume that the file from which it was read is the file where it will go back. Perfectly valid assumption because the file from which you are reading is file in which you are saving. But again, why should we make assumptions? Maybe he wants to save it in some other file. So we have no clue. So what will we do? We'll show the save file dialog box, ask the name of the file where he or she wants to save and save it in that file. Okay. So now your job is to show that save file dialog box and so on. Okay. So let's save it. So the user is saying show the, again, you can set the properties if you want. And after you set the properties. If you don't have to, but again, just so that we know. Okay, so you can do again, you can start with an initial directory, whatever. Oh, and don't forget, same thing. If your stream writer, no, what was it called? Coffee stream writer. If your stream writer is not equal to null, the file is already open for whatever reason. So I know it won't be in my code, but take your stream writer and close it. You can't write to a file that is already open. You have to open it before you write it, right? So just to be on the safe side, if it is not null, it's already open, I want to close it and then restart it. Okay, now you can set the properties if you like. Same kind of stuff. It was called save file dialog. There it is. One, it is called. You can set its initial directory if you want. From your directory class, you can get your current directory or go wherever you want. Again, this is entirely up to you. You can set the file name if you want. Same again, if you want to kind of go with the coffees.txt or leave it blank. Maybe you don't want to. You can go blank if you want. I don't think the name, the case matters in a file name. What else can we set? Oh, and you know what? Just to show you, you don't have to, but I mean, it's not required, but you can also do it this way because there was a property there which I was talking about. It was called default. There it is. Just, you can do it this way also. The more you know, the better it is. I'm setting the initial property, the file name, title if you like. We've done title before. Go with some, oops. Very bad. If you don't pick it up, then it will, there it is. Again, I don't know, save file. I don't remember what it says, but it's not a big deal. I think it says save file already. Doesn't make sense changing it. What else can we do? Oh, your filter. This is all just showing you that things can be done, and please pay attention when you do your assignment, because I'm going to kind of look for these things. So you know what, just because it's just typing. And then show it. And you know what, let's take the response. So I'll need a local variable, or you can declare it right here. You don't have to do it outside. I just like to put my variables at the same place. And why? Because again, the user may choose to save or to cancel. Remember, there are two buttons again. Like you had open and cancel, you have save and cancel. So take the response and show the dialog box. It was called save file dialog 1. Show the dialog box. There it is. And there it is. Now, if the user hasn't said cancel, then we want to do something. So if the user hasn't said cancel, and if the user has said cancel, that's okay. Again, you can give a message on the screen if you like. You can just say, you can just ignore it and leave it. Entirely depends upon what your application is doing. But yeah, if it is not canceled, then we want to save it. What do? Create a stream writer object. Remember, we have one. We already have a one declared. It's called coffee stream writer. Go new stream writer. And again, look at, we have 8 of them. You can pass a stream. There is a path one, which I'm going to use. There is a stream and an encoding. There is a path and a Boolean append here. This could come handy in your assignment. So if you wanted to append to an existing file, that's what you will use. I don't want to append. I want to replace it. So I won't use this one. But if you wanted to append, you will give a value of true. Then whatever is in your file stays and the new contents get added at the end. So you may need this in your assignment. So you kind of go through what I'm going through just to show it to you. I'm good with the first one. My first one is perfectly fine. So I'm going to take that file name. I'm giving a path, and I'm going to take the file name. There it is. Here, for me, this is okay. But there is an option of appending. Now bring your mouse over it again and look at it. The exceptions that are being thrown are unauthorized exception, argument null, directory not found, path to long exception, IO exception, and a security exception. So your job is to write catches for all of them, right? Okay, so I'm going to do this. Since I know this is happening, I'm going to put it in a try. Right, I'm going to put it in a try. You have to do it. I mean, that's what it is. And then you will catch your exceptions. Okay, so I had a long list. I'll kind of keep away, or I'll be just smart. So it's not a good smart action. I'm just going to catch all exceptions together. Right, just so that I know nothing is left out. But that's easy and quick, dirty way. Right? And give your message. What else can you do? Show a method. Because I don't know what's going on, I'll go e.message or ex, sorry, can't use e. You can call it error. You can call it file opening error. You can say open error, whatever you like. Error in creating the file. I don't know. Creation error. Then you can say file reading error, because I know I'm creating a file. Okay. And then, of course, I just use my message boxes.buttons. And I use my message boxes.icons. And I say an error, and my job is done. There it is. But now, how do I write from here to my file? So now write the contents of the coffee list to your file. Right? That's what I have to do. So now you have to read from your items collection and write to the file. That's what you have to do. So use a for each loop, read from your list, put it on the file. That's it, right? Okay, so let's do it. For each, why would I do anything else? Because for each is available. What am I saying? I want to pick it up from my list, and my list was called items from the coffee combo box. Okay, so it's in that coffee. Okay, so what's coming out? What is it written? The items? I don't know. I'll have to check. Maybe it's an object and I'll have to cast it. I'm not sure. Maybe it's an object and I'll have to cast it. Oh, I is capital. Yeah, it's okay. It's working. Okay. What do you have to do? Pick up and put there. That's all you have to do. Right? So get it and put it. Get it and put it. That's all that needs to be done. And you have to write to the file. So take your coffee. There it is. How do you want to write it? One line at a time. One coffee flavor in one line. One coffee flavor in one line. Take your write line method. Not write. And what do you want to write? You want to pick up this coffee and put it there. Job done. Finished. For each, I don't have to bother. Don't have to go to the next item. Nothing. Just for each will start from beginning, go till end. Now that you've written everything to your file, and here, this is where you think you've written everything to your file. Please remember to make your dirty Boolean variable as true. As false. So no changes now, because the user may keep hitting save all the time. Like, you know what? Once, twice doesn't make sense. So let's be safe. No changes now. What should I say? No changes. All changes recorded, we'll say. Saved, we can say. Not recorded here. So make your is dirty Boolean back to false. Your job has been done. And like before, please take your finally block and remember to close your file. If your coffee stream writer is not equal to null, then close it. There, that's done. And there you go. Okay, so I have recorded all my changes. I would like to do one small thing before finishing, and I have time and I want to do it because you will need it again. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, let's see if it works. Let's start. All my coffee, if I don't, then it's empty, but I can always go here. I can open a file just so that I have something. Okay, so I have a few things. Let me delete something. I'm going to delete the corner blend, okay? Remove. I'm going to add a new flavor. I know the other things are working. We've already tested all that. Okay, my job is done, right? I could exit if I like. I have an exit. Where are you? Exit here. I have an exit here. And I want to draw your attention to this thing also. Remember, the user can also close a form with this X. So we have to now because we are dealing with files. Before it wasn't important, but now that we are dealing with files and we need to be sure that files are closed before we exit, we have to write an event handler for that cross also. Till now we never bothered because it wasn't affecting us at all, right? So when you go exit and you say this dot close, you're closing the form, or you say application dot exit, an event called form closing takes place. So what I'll do is I'll write an event handler for form closing. When you do exit, it automatically calls it. And when you use this cross, that also calls it. So we'll write that too now. That's something new for us because we always want to close our files before we exit. So anything that you would like to do, if you're using a database, you want to close your connection. Anything that you would like to do and you want to be sure that it is done before the form is closed or the application is exited, we will put in the form closing event handler. We'll learn how to write that. But for now, so what did I do? This is what I have right now. So I have removed something, corner blend, and I've added new flavor. It has come in the same place just by chance sorting. It just came there. Okay. Now I'm going to go to file and I'm going to say save my coffee flavors. It says, where do you want to save it? If you want to save it in a different file, it's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to save it in the same file because I want to read from the same file. I say save. Notice how there are two buttons, save and cancel. Cancel won't do anything. Sit what? Don't do anything. That's what cancel is. But if you want to save it, let's save it. It says, is it okay to save it here? And I haven't done it in the append mode. I want to replace it. I say yes, save. It says it already exists. Do you? And where is this coming from? This is coming from the property of your save file dialog. That is where it is coming from. It always does it. It exists. Do you want to replace it? Now, if you were appending data to your file, I don't want to see this dialog, please, because I mean, I'm not replacing it. It's irrelevant for me. I just want to save it. I'll open it in the append mode. I'll add that append equal to true, and I don't want to see this dialog. So again, a hint for you that in your assignment, don't want to see this dialog because there I'll be asking you to append the data. So it says, do you want to replace it? I don't want to replace it. Here I'll keep saying no, and it won't move. So I don't want this dialog box if I'm appending data. I want this dialog box only if I'm creating a new file or I'm washing the previous contents and putting data. So this dialog box can be removed by looking for a property in your save file dialog box and making it false. Right now it is true. It's up to you to look what property is making that dialog box come. Because if you want to append it, I'll say no, and I can move from here. So that dialog box should not come up. Okay. So now I'm okay. I want to save. It says yes. For me, it is okay. I'll say yes. And now I'm going to exit. Okay. Now it says, oh, you've made a change to the file. I'll say, yeah, I know that. Yes. Now open it again. Just to prove to you that, of course, there is nothing here till I go and say open. I'm going to use the same file. And there you go. Corner blend is gone. New flavor is out. In. Works. Whatever you saved in the file is now showing. So it works. Right? So that's the whole concept. And it's easy if you kind of think of it. This file is your intermediary data storage, where you are saving your data. Anytime you want to save something, put it there. Anytime you want to read something, get it from there. This gives you another idea. Maybe if you had a multi-form project and you wanted to share data, maybe not something like that, but any kind of data that you wanted to share, you could put it in a file and then all the forms could pick it up from the file. That's another way of doing it. So this is a data file. There could be just a file where you're saving things. Or of course, if you want to pass information from one form to another, you've learned how to write your getters and setters. You can do it that way. Or you can use a variable that's public. But no, I won't allow you to do that because we don't want to make our variables public. We want to keep them private. But there is another access specifier that you can look for, which will allow you to share variables amongst multi-forms. So maybe you opened a file and created it in one form. Now you want to use the name of this file in another form because you want to open it there now. So you can make it, you don't want to make it public. Public says it's available everywhere, which you don't want to do. But there is something that will allow you to do it. So again, think about it in your assignment. But this works. It works. It's fine. Now, the only thing I want you to do, and I want you to pay attention to this because we haven't done this before. In my form, there are two ways I can close the form. I have an exit here, and this exit is already written. So when you do something like application.exit, notice if you say provide static methods and provide to manage, whenever you do an application.exit or you go this.close, it calls the form closing event. So there is a form closing. It always confuses me. But anyway, there's a form closing and then there is a form closed. I don't know why two were created, but anyway. So that's what it calls. And there is nothing to do. I don't have an event handler for form closing. So it just closes, nothing to be done. But what you haven't done till now, just because we never felt the need, is this cross, unless you remove it from your toolbar. If it's not there, then we are fine. But I usually keep it there. I say I want them to be operational. Now, if the user clicks on this cross, automatically the form closing event is called. And what do I want to do in my form closing event always is close your files if they're not open. And maybe ask the user to save. Are you okay? Do you want to save anything before you want to leave? Now, how does one write it? This is what you do. Select your form, go to the events, select your form, go to the events, and go to the event called form closing. There it is. Double click in front of it. and it will create a stub for you. So when you double click on a form, what happens? The load event handler is created by default. But that does, how do I create the other ones? Simple. Go to its events, properties events, click in front of it, and it will create a stub for you. So what is this one doing? This is what is happening when the form is closed. Or you can say, what do we call it? Usually we call it, what do we call it? There's a word for it, right? Not wrap up. Wrap up is an English word. Bookkeeping, right? In computers, we call it bookkeeping. So you can call it bookkeeping if you like, or you can say wrap up operations when the form is called closing. So one thing definitely that you would like to do here is close your stream writers. So if your coffee stream writer, for whatever reason, it is still open, close it. And this is also called from application.exit. You don't have to repeat it there. It automatically is called. I'll show you. I'll put a hello or something so that you can see it. Close it. That's one job you want to do. The other job you want to do is if you're stream writer. So anything, all connections being closed, if you're whatever you're using. You'll say, what happens? Will heavens fall if I don't close my files? No, heavens will not fall if you don't close your file. But what will not happen is that if while you write to a file, if you are doing write, keep in mind every write you do doesn't go to your external storage. It's put in a memory buffer. When that memory buffer becomes full, because IO operations are expensive, right? When that memory buffer becomes full, then that buffer is taken and put onto your external storage. So if your buffer is not full, it won't. But when you close it, you are saying, if there is a half, not a full buffer in memory, and I did some writes, put it onto my file. So your some records will be missing if you haven't closed the files properly. So I've closed it everywhere. You'll say you've closed it 1,000 times already. You've closed it in your finally block. Why are you doing it again? Defensive programming. Therefore, I'm checking. If you're not closed, then close it. I'm not saying close it if you're already closed. You'll say, but that's more coding. You're checking an if. But you know what? An if is less expensive than data not going to a file. So it's just better. So if it is not null, I'm checking. Then close it. It's not called stream writer. It is called coffee stream writer. So this is something that I would definitely like to do in my form closing event. And this is also called when you press the cross, for which we haven't done anything till now because it never bothered us. Plus, I'm also going to do this. I'm also going to kind of confirm from the user, does he want to save something before he exits, right? So I basically want to do the same thing that the user does when he goes to save. Do you want to save kind of stuff? I want to do that. So I'll just do that so that I know I'm on the safe side. Okay, so I'm going to check if, remember that variable if is dirty? So, the variable is dirty and the user didn't save it. So I'm going to confirm from the user. So if it is dirty, yes, there is something to save. Right? So if is dirty, that means there is data to save. I'm going to ask the user. So take a dialog result variable, call it whatever you like. I'm calling it response. I'm going to show a message box to the user. I'm going to ask, do you want to save the coffee flavors before exiting? Otherwise, I won't even ask. Like, I won't even bother to ask. I'm only asking because there are changes. So do you want to save changes in coffee flavor before exit? Right, and again, so we'll kind of go here, go to the next line just because it's easy. You can call it whatever you like, save coffee flavors in your, or confirm coffee flavors or save coffee flavors. This is again necessary when you're definitely working with files and also you're working in multi-form environment. Just because you're just saying, and keep in mind, if you hide a form and you show another one, closing this will not close this automatically. Anything that is hidden doesn't close. You'll have to kind of close this also. So closing is necessary of forms. Hiding is not closing. Hiding just means you can't see it, but it is still in memory. So again, when you're working in multi-form project, as you will be in your last assignment with a partner, please keep in mind that if a form is hidden for whatever reason, if I've told you to hide the form and now you want to close the application, you should ensure that this is also closed. Otherwise, you'll see that red square that shows here that the program is still running in the background. So you have to take care of all these things. Okay, and it's a question, so we'll have to show yes or no. Or you can show a cancel also, really doesn't matter. For me, yes and no is just saying yes or no, otherwise tell me what to do. And it's a question. And again, if you want to use your, yes is your default, then you don't have to have a default. If not, then it is. Okay, and if the person says yes, if the user says yes, I want to, what will you do? Because you already have that event handler written. You won't repeat that code here. What will you do? You will call that event handler. What was it called? Something save. There it is. Save. There it is. Right? That's what it was. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one. Yeah, no, wrong one. I need to go to that event handler. There, click. There it is. I'm calling that method. I'm calling that event handler. And send your sender from here and send your E from here. Yep, that's okay. So if is dirty is important. If there is data to save, not date to save, data to save, then ask the user. If the user says yes, do it. If the user says no, nothing. I mean, fine, that's okay. But don't forget to close your streams. Actually, these are files. I keep calling them streams, though we haven't used a stream at all. I didn't create a stream. I didn't create a file stream at all. I'm just using the files directly as a path. Okay. Now, let's see if it works. So to prove to you, I think application.exit should go. Form.close definitely goes. I want to go file and exit. Okay. So application.exit is not doing it. Let's try to go here and say this dot close. Instead of this, I'm just going to, for a minute, application.exit is not going there. So I have to confirm that it goes there. This dot close. The is dirty boolean is false. That's why it didn't ask me the question. Okay, I thought it would. Let's try again. I'm going to make is dirty boolean kind of AA, and I'm going to add this flavor. Okay, kind of risky because I don't want to replace my file, but anyway. So now my is dirty boolean is true, right? I made a change. There it is. I thought everything, anytime you do an application.exit, so you'll say, oh, from where is this coming? I didn't write it in the exit button. But remember, whenever you do an application.exit or this dot close, whatever you do, it always automatically calls the event handler for form closing. And what it does is what I've written here. So I've written it commonly. Yes. But why should I double my job? Why should I double it up? I've already written these dirty boolean here. Why should why am I writing the same code in two places? Because I know that the form closing event occurs. Why should I do an if there and then an if here? This I have to always do because I'll show you why. There's no sense of doing it there because then I'm doing it at two places. Okay, now when I do this, it still checks if dirty boolean is true. So since I'm already doing it here and this is being called by the application.exit, why do I do it at two places? You know what I mean? You could do it. You'll say, why even I call it? But it is being done. I am doing it. Okay. Automatically, anytime you do an application.exit or this dot close, form closing event handler is called by default. It is. So let's ask the question here where it will be called. So do you notice now what I've done? So you have to be careful now of this cross that you've not paid attention to at all in previous projects because it didn't affect us. Right? It didn't affect us at all. Because I don't remember that anywhere we've done anything that needs to be saved or anything. But now I need to. So if the user uses the cross, he should do the same thing that the exit is doing. So the form, this dot close, application dot exit, they automatically call the event handler for the event handler called form closing, because form is closing, right? So form is closing. So the form closing event handler is called. So when it is called, and it is also called from the cross. So if I don't write it, I can use the cross and it will not ask me that question, because I want that irrespective of how the user is closing the application, whether he is using the exit button, whether he or she is using the cross, this should be asked of the user, do you want to save if it is dirty? Plus, more importantly, I want to close my files. That's more important than anything else. Of course, saving is also important, because otherwise you will lose your changes. So I said, is there something to change? Ask the question. If there is nothing to change, don't ask, but at least close the files. And again, I'm not simply saying dot close, dot close. I'm checking, are you open before I close it? If you don't do that, it will give you a runtime error, because you can't close something that's already closed. You know what I mean? So I have an if everywhere. I just don't close it. I say, are you open? Then close it. So how do I check? I say is not equal to none. Right? Okay. So I haven't done anything with sit-ups just because like it's the same kind of concept, but here the concept was giving you the file concept. And it's same in every language. Files are just format free storage data structures. So who creates the format? The programmer creates the format. You decide how you want to save. And you decide, you have to read it the same way. You can't say, I did it in a read line and now I'm going to read it. Can't do it. Right? Because if you saved a line per record, you have a name. What will happen in read? This is what happens in read. Read line will read it and the read pointer goes to the next record, to the next line. If you say read, it reads it and the pointer is right there. It stops there. So when you try to read again, nothing, there's nothing after that. Okay, so the format of the file, how data is being saved has to be decided by the programmer, because how you save is how you read. That's how it works. Okay, so I didn't use file stream just because I used file dialog boxes and save file boxes, but you know what, it's not a big deal. All you have to do is you have to add it here, you have to create it here, and it's not as if you can't do it. It's not a, I mean, where is my remove? Let me go here. So here, when you do this, instead of putting a path name right here, you could have created a file stream reader object here. Remember, I have an FS there. There it is. And again, bring your mouse over it. See, it has 15. It has 15 overloaded methods, and it says, okay, what are you trying to open and what is your access mode? Remember, I showed it to you in your PowerPoint slides. So access, do you want to read, open, create new, and so on. And there are 15 of these. Because there was option, you had access also. Modes. So you know what? Like, because my job wasn't so tough, I could simply say this. I could give you your pointer, initialize a new instance of the file stream class for the specified file handle. They're called file handles with the specified read write permission. So what will you do here? So you have this file. I'm just showing it to you. It's not a big job at all. I'm going to use that open file dialog, file name. That's your handle. Okay. And what would you like to open it in? What access? I'm reading from it. So read. What was the, oh, we need that constant. Read that constant. What was it? Open. Oh, was it open? No, it's not open. I forget. I'll have to go and look at the constants that were given there. Somewhere in, oh, gone. Okay, but some constant. It has to exactly have that access. Maybe I can bring my mouse here and it will show me the. No, it doesn't. Yeah, but I need that access. I thought it was open. I couldn't be wrong, but who knows? Very quickly, let me look at it. Wasn't the access mode open? Murak, where are my slides? It was on your slides. 21. Page down. File stream. Oh, there it is open, right? Oh, no, not, oh, this is asking for access, not for mode. Oops, okay. Read. I tried that too. That wasn't coming up too. I'm trying read. Oh, I have to say file. I have to say file stream dot read. Okay, I get it. I mean, you just have to know how to use it. Okay, so it's a constant. So file stream dot read. There it is. Oh no. What now? It says there is a read here. File access, read, write, and write. Oh, am I using a different one? Which one am I using? File stream, bring your mouse. A path and a mode. A path and a mode. Oops, okay. And a mode, open. What? Oh. Path and a mode. There it is, open. File mode enumerations. Oops. See, you have to look for more. File mode, there. There. Oh, we are good now. Here, this is how you would do in file stream. You can create this file stream, and then instead of this here, you can use FS. It will work the same way, guys. It's not different. I'll kind of copy this code so that then I can comment it out. And I leave it for you so that you can see it. I'm positive it will work, but haven't tried it, so don't know. I'm just trying it. So here, instead of just putting the path, so that was easy, right? 375 was easy. I didn't have to bother. But here I'm creating a file stream object and then passing it. I can do that. But then I have to be careful. Is it throwing any exceptions? Oops, there's a long list of exceptions here also. So you have to be careful about everything. Just let me double check to see that. Oh, I didn't put it on GitHub at all today. I'll put it on Blackboard for sure, guys. Yep, works the same way. So I was being lazy, but here it is for you so that you can see it, okay? There. So you can use a file stream object like I was showing you in slides, or you can use a file path. I just went with the simpler one because it was simple and I was still catching those exceptions, right? So I'll create a GitHub for it if you are interested, but I'll definitely put this on Blackboard. So next Monday night or early Tuesday morning, I'll post your last assignment. Please see you have a partner for it. It's a combination of files, multiforms, and classes. So last week, this week, and multiforms. Okay. So all together, at least 15% is what I'm thinking. But 2 people at a time, I'm not accepting individual assignments. I'm not. If you don't have a partner, email me. Somebody else will also email me, and I'll put you together. Okay, so email me quickly so that I can put you together. And I put an announcement saying a group assignment is coming so that you're ready with a partner before it comes. Okay? Only 2 people. It's not more than 50. There are 2 songs, there are 2 forms, there are 2 files to be used, 2 are enough. Okay? Yes, the assignment will only be posted early next week and I'll give you 5 days. It's the last major assignment. Okay? I can't do it because my other section has not yet done it. So it will only go out when everybody has covered the books. I can do that. I can be unfair to them, right? So it goes to everybody on Tuesday and it comes back from everybody on the Monday or Sunday. And everybody has a good chance of doing it. Everybody has a fun.
How are you creating like the group? Like, how do you know who's in the group? Are you going to be doing like a discussion board?
No, nothing. You just choose your partner. Do it. One partner. It's up to you. You can make your own partners. If you don't find a partner, then you make it. And then I just put it whoever.
Of course. We'll have lots of
Today, no. This is your final assignment that will come next. You're done. One assignment and one final exam.
So one out of four is like that.
This one is going to go. This will be going to 2%. The one that I did have 4 and 5 are 10%. And 120 and how should you have the same? While I was showing my presentation, the same like I had JD office. And I opened mine and it's the same. Let's not go to the kitchen and I was showing it. Another person also did it. Okay. Okay, guys, we are done for today then.